Welcome to today's episode. My name is Ivan Lam, a contemporary artist. Today's topic, the main topic that we want to talk about is role of an artist. What does artists actually do, right? They got so many things they want to do. Right on top of my head, right, I could just list down the top 6 first, okay? These are all big words I want to talk about. Storytellers and cultural narrators, okay? Then we have social and political activists, and we have community builders, innovators and experimenters, interpretation of personal and user experience, educators and mentors. Wow, those are really big words, but what do they actually mean? Okay, let me break down it for you first, okay? One by one. Storytellers and cultural narrators. Basically, I'm not saying that all of us are doing all this, but generally, right, when you become a storyteller, you tell a story of your own culture, your background, where you're from, and who are these stories for? It could be a very personal thing, or you could share in the community that the artist grew up with and things that he wants to do. And so they tell stories, right? Whatever form the art form is going to be, right? Social and political activists. What do they do as an artist? So they engage with issues that are really close to your heart, both social and political. These are one of those things that the art form, whatever art form they take in, so they only engage in this couple of issues. Social issues and political issues. And then we move on to community builders. What are they? They are the ones that have activities, their art form involved building their communities that are around them. It could be their own taman, it could be their own city, it could be their own country, and then finally internationally or across the borders. So these are artists that build community with other people in their society and also in their communities. And we move on to number 4. And number 4 are innovators and experimenters. This is the topic that I kind of like because they deal with mediums or media that they haven't thought with, or constantly combining old mediums and new media, digital, performance, what else? Painting, traditional stuff that we know about, and also some that are not so traditional. So it's a combination. They innovate new mediums, new materials, and also quite experimental and using all these mediums to make up something new or presenting them in a very new way. Number 5, interpreters of personal and universal experiences. Check this out, man. I think first is, this is the one that is their work, whatever the medium is, as I said many times, right, work that are very personal. And at the same time, right, if you have enough of this personal work, it also shares with a universal and common belief among everybody. So it's personal and yet also universal. So their work is totally based on these two polars. Not extreme, but they share very similar things. Last but not least, educators and mentors. As they go through their own journey, they also educate and become mentors to younger generation, younger artists, younger people that want to take on the mantle. I think this one, every artist might or might not have this inclination to do so, but whether they like it or not, right, they're passing on something that younger generation, younger artists can actually look at their work and yet feel keen, feel there's a connection to it. So you're mentoring, you're also educating younger generation of artists that's going to come on board. I think the traditional sense of a role in artist, you would think of them being in a studio, making, crafting beautiful objects, beautiful paintings, beautiful drawings, beautiful sculptures, beautiful prints, right? But these days, it becomes so much more complex and there's a lot of things tacked on. Maybe we have been doing it all along, but we don't have all these cool hype titles, and now we do, right? So my question that I'm always going to do is, can we do them all, or are we failing to do any one of them? What do you think? This is something that's close to heart. After telling you all this expansive role of being an artist and being more than just the role of an artist sitting in his or her studio making work. That's the role that we always like to portray, the role that when people talk about being an artist, that's what comes out. But when I tacked on all this educator, mentors, experimenter, storytellers, it just seems that they are interrelated, they're intertwined, and it gets a bit more mind-boggling to do so, right? If you would set it up so differently, obviously we cannot do it all. That's a given. We can't, right? And we will fail if we try consciously to box them up. But if you would dissect yourself as an artist and you would see, actually we are already doing it, whether we like it or not, whether we are conscious about it or not. But it's just that we don't focus. I always believe that when you play your strength to a certain role, let's say you're really good, there's nothing wrong with being traditional. There's nothing wrong about sitting in your studio and making album. Nothing wrong, right? A lot of people do that. So when they step out of that role as an artist, suddenly you have to deal with so many other things that comes with it, right? It gets tacked on to you socially, culturally, and sometimes they are expected to do things that are more. Once you step out of your studio, right? Once you step out of your own comfort zone, what are you, right? So there's the questioning of role. Some artists, I tell you, they're amazing. Seamlessly, they switch from one to the other. And sometimes people find it a bit difficult from one role to the other. They couldn't migrate, they couldn't transpose, they couldn't transfix it, right? So everyone has their own shortfalls and also their strength. So my advice for people that find this overwhelming, with so many roles that are tacked onto them, I think pause, take a breath, and see that what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Improve on your weaknesses and play to your strength. So to come to the end of this episode, what I'm trying to say is you can't do them all. If you try to do them all, you will fail them all. Just focus on a few that you're comfortable with, and maybe a few roles that you think you can take on. Right, let's try that. Whatever, get you out of the comfort zone. Just don't stay in the square. And I think we can do it a bit more. There are people that love to get out there and don't like to make work in the studio, which is fine. Maybe make some work. And there are people that cannot get out of their studio. They just love making work. Maybe step out of that a bit. Everyone's journey is unique. And it's not about ticking every single box, right? Just make the box yours. Tick the box that you feel like you could be you, without changing the identity, without changing your art form, without changing your belief in the art system. And for the next episode, I think it plays on this role as an artist, but we just expand it a little. Do you buy the art or do you buy the artist?